July 16th, Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu, while he's reading Quran and he's sitting down, this 82-year-old man, he dozes off and he falls asleep at the time of Salatul Asr. And he was fasting that day because it's the day of Thursday, and that was the sunnah of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam to fast that day. And he sees in his dream Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam standing in front of him, smiling, and behind him is Abu Bakr and Umar radiallahu anhum. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says, Ya Uthman, O Uthman, هل منعوك عن الماء? Did they forgive you? Did they forbid you from water? And he said, نعم يا رسول الله. And he said, Ya Uthman, did they forbid you from food? And he said, نعم يا رسول الله, they forbade me from food. And he said, Ya Uthman, did they forbid you from praying salah in my masjid? And he said, نعم يا Rasulullah, they forbade me from praying salah in your masjid. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam then says to Uthman radiallahu anhu, the one who he loved so much to the point that he spent a whole night making dua for his pleasure, the one who Uthman radiallahu anhu became mute at his death, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says to him, he says, Abshir ya Uthman, good news, O Uthman, سوف تفطر عندنا هذه الليلة. You're going to break your fast with us tonight. Subhanallah. And the people around Uthman radiallahu anhu, they see Al-Hasan wal-Hussein and the women in his household, they see the tears coming down his eyes. And he wakes up full of joy. Full of joy. This was the goal of these men. And he relates his dream to the people. No sooner does he narrate his dream to his wife Na'ila radiallahu anha and Al-Hasan wal-Hussein and those who are around him, except that they storm the house. And as they storm the house and they stand in front of him, Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu is sitting down, 82 years old, reading Surah Al-Baqarah and not paying any attention to them. And the people take a moment and they stop their fitrah. They stop, they look at him and they don't know what to do. Look at this man and his khushu'. How could we kill this man? Until Al-Ghafiqi, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala curse him, strikes Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu in the face with a piece of iron. And the blood comes running down. And it falls on the ayah, فَسَيَكْفِيكَهُمُ اللَّهُ وَهُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. He was reading that ayah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will suffice for you against them. And Allah is the all-hearing and the all-knowing. Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr, who was caught up in the fitna, comes to Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and he grabs his beard, about to strike him. And Uthman radiallahu anhu says, دَعْ لَحْيَتِي فَقَدْ كَانَ أَبُوكَ يُكْرِمُهَا. Let go of my beard because your father used to honor it. When I meet your father in Jannah, I don't want to tell him that you were the one who killed me. And Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr runs away from that incident, and then comes Saudan, and you can see the evil that these people had in their hearts, and he stabs Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu 9 times, screaming in rage, and he says 3 times for Allah and 6 times for the hate that I have for you. And he murders Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu in that state. And Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu has iftar that night, as we know, because whoever sees Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his sleep has seen him in reality. We know that he had iftar that night with his companions, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, and Umar, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be pleased with them. And on that same ayah where the blood of Uthman radiallahu anhu fell, until today, if you go to the museum in Turkey that has that mushaf, you see the stain from the blood of Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu. And these people, they robbed everything that he had. They stole everything from Baytul Mal. And you know what? The promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala came true. فَسَيَكْفِيكَهُمُ اللَّهُ. Each and every single person who participated in the murder of Uthman radiallahu anhu was murdered in this dunya. Each and every single one of them. These people did not even allow Uthman radiallahu anhu to have a public janazah because they did not want the emotions of the people to be stirred. So they did not even allow him to be buried during the day, and only Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu and a group of Sahaba were allowed to bury him in the nighttime, and they didn't want him buried in al-Baqi'. They didn't want him being buried in the graveyard next to the mosque of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because they did not want his grave to be a place that would evoke sympathy. But you know what happened? Later on, as the Baqi' grew, the grave of Uthman radiallahu anhu became part of it anyway. And we go to one hadith, and I'll close with this, in which Abu Musa al-Ash'ari radiallahu ta'ala anhu narrates a very famous hadith, where he says that one day a day went long and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not come to the masjid. So the Sahaba started to inquire about him. This was the life of the Sahaba. Where is the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam? I want to be with him. I want to follow him. I want to learn some ahadith. The Sahaba started to follow, trying to find him. And Abu Musa al-Ash'ari radiallahu ta'ala anhu said, until I followed his steps asking about him, and I came to a place, a well, a garden of Aris. And I walked in there, and I found that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had relieved himself and performed wudu. And I went to him, and he was sitting with his legs uncovered, and he had his legs inside a small well. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was taking a break, contemplating in a time of peace. And Abu Musa radiallahu ta'ala anhu says, so I decided that I was going to stand guard. And then Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu came. And by the way, every time you read about Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam being in a place, the same order of companions coming. By fitrah. Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu came inquiring about the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Abu Musa radiallahu anhu says, I asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam if Abu Bakr can come in. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, إِذَنْ لَهُ وَبَشِّرْهُ بِالْجَنَّةِ. Tell him to come in and give him the glad tidings of paradise. So Abu Bakr came in, and he sat right next to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He uncovered his legs and he dangled them in the well. And Abu Musa says, I started to make dua, I started to pray that the next person that would come would be my brother, because I knew that the person that would come would be a person of good fortune. And then Umar radiallahu anhu came, and he asked permission to enter. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, give him permission, وَبَشِّرْهُ بِالْجَنَّةِ, and grant him the glad tidings of paradise. So Umar radiallahu anhu walks in, and he sits to the left of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He uncovers his legs and he dangles them next to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then the next person comes, Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and he's seeking permission to enter. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, give him permission to enter. وَبَشِّرْهُ بِالْجَنَّةِ عَلَى بَلْوَ تُصِيبُهُ. Give him the glad tidings of paradise as a result of a tragedy that's going to strike him. And Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu said, Allahul Musta'an, I will be patient. And he walks in, and there is no place to sit next to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he sits across from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Abu Bakr and Umar and Sa'id ibn al-Musayyib radiallahu ta'ala anhu. He says, I interpreted this to be the graves of the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that everyone in Jannah has a rafiq. Everyone in Jannah has a close friend. A rafiq is someone that always keeps you company. وَرَفِيقِي فِي الْجَنَّةِ عُثْمَانِ. And my rafiq, my close friend in Jannah is Uthman. I ask you with one question only. Who do you want to be with at the moment of your death? Who do you want to be with in al-barzakh? Who do you want to be with in al-jannah? سَتَكُونَ مَعْ مَنْ أَحْبَبْتِ. You will be with the one whom you loved. And no one loved Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam like his companions, and that is why they were granted this privilege. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to have that vision and that insight, and to live our lives in a way that is pleasing to Him according to the sunnah of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and to allow us to be gathered in a Jannatul Firdaus with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, with Al-Khulafa Ar-Rashideen, may Allah be pleased with them, and with those who followed in His path sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to reflect on these moments with them, to say, I came to a YM conference and I heard Sheikh Abu Zayd talking about you, O Umar. I came to a YM conference and I heard Sheikh Abdul Nasser talking about you, O Ali. We ask Allah to make them our neighbors in Al-Jannah. Allahumma ameen. جزاكم الله خير على حسن استماعكم. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. والسلام عليكم.